So, hi everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss how the V8 engine works and what's its role in the Node.js. So, this will be the first video in our Node.js architecture playlist. So, let's begin. So, before we dive into V8, let's quickly brush up two important concepts, which are compiler and interpreter. So, those of you who don't know, a compiler translates an entire program written in high-level languages into machine code. So that is in binary. So this machine code is also platform dependent. So what I mean by that is, if you compile a program, let's say on Mac OS, so the binary produced will also run on Mac OS with the same CPU architecture. It will not run on any other, like, let's say if I try to run it on Linux, that will not work. And moving on to interpreter, an interpreter translate and executes the program line by line at runtime. So for example, if you are like a 20-line script, it will execute line 1, then 2, and so on. So the interpreters are generally slower than compiler because the code isn't pre-optimized. So it's being basically translated on the fly. Then, now that you all know what these two things are, let's move to what Node.js is. So Node.js is a runtime environment for JavaScript. So traditionally, JavaScript could only run inside a browser. Just thanks to a V8 engine. So basically, before Node.js, it was only for the browser. So now that we have Node.js, so Node.js basically bundles the V8 engine and along with some additional binaries like libu and all. So which provides features such as basically event looping, like file system access, networking. So all these features, so Node.js basically bundles it, and this allows us to run JavaScript outside of the browser. That is, we can directly run it on the operating system on which we like. So let's just think of Node.js as a room where the brain is the V8 engine. So the brain understands the JavaScript, and the room provides tools for interacting with the outside world. Then you must be wondering, like, what is V8? Like, what is V8 engine? So V8 is a high performance JavaScript engine which is written in C++. So you can call it like a C++ program. It was like uh you know, so its job is to take the JavaScript code and make it run as fast as possible by like obviously converting it to machine code that the CPU can directly execute. So how V8 executes JavaScript? There's like a process. So first, it actually converts the given, like, JavaScript is basically your like input. Let's say I write a index.js. That thing is your input. It's just a input for the V8 engine. So when you write a JavaScript code, let's say index.js or whatever, then the V8 first parse it and create an AST. AST is abstract syntax tree. Yeah. So it's basically a structural representation of your code. So let's say if I write a code, let me write a code real quick. Function add a comma b and return a plus b. Okay. So this function will be represented as an AST, which is abstract syntax tree. And this AST is then converted into bytecode. And then further, this bytecode is executed by the V8 interpreter. This process is called ignition, by the way. So let me brush up real quickly. The code is getting converted into like it first parse it and create an AST. That AST is then converted into bytecode, and then that bytecode is executed by the V8 interpreter. Then while executing the bytecode, the V8 runs a JIT compilation. What is JIT compilation? So JIT compilation is just in time compilation. So basically what happens is it looks for hot functions. Hot functions are like the code that is run repeatedly. So instead of interpreting those repetitive code like or these hot functions again and again, the JIT compilation compiles them into an optimized machine code. So the okay, let's just for example take a function whose parameters are always number. So this is like a hot function, right? So if the assumptions are true, like it is a hot function, then the machine code, like the V8 converts it into machine code, and it's basically now much faster. And if the assumptions are wrong, like suddenly a string appears, then the V8 can like de-optimize and fall back to the interpreter again instead of like using the machine code, which turn out wrong this time. So then so basically this combination of like the interpreter and JIT compiler is like that's why it's so this combination of like the interpreter and JIT compiler makes it like extremely faster, like almost comparable to C++ in terms of speed. Then let's talk about memory management. So in other languages like C, we have to manage memory on our own, unlike in JavaScript and Python and other languages as well, like C++, Java. The memory management is done by the language itself. So in JavaScript also, like V8 handles this automatically with the concept called garbage collection. So it follows an algorithm. I will not go deep into that algorithm, but what it does it marks and sweep. So it is also called mark and sweep algorithm. So it marks the object that are still in use. Okay, and sweep away the objects that are no longer needed. That's it. So we are basically freeing up memory. The only limitation in like the garbage collection is like there's a GC pause, which is garbage collection pause. The garbage collection, like this process is going on, the the program execution like may pause. So this is the like the only limitation here. Then now that we are done with like the memory management, let's also go and understand with like an actual example. Yeah, just give me a minute. Okay, now that we're done with like the memory management thing, let's understand how it actually stores the memory. So like the primitive values, like let's say x equal to 5 is stored in stack, while the objects and arrays are actually stored in heap. Let's understand this with a diagram. Just give me a minute. Okay, so yeah, let's try run this. So x equal to 5, that will be stored in stack, as I said, easy as that. Then y equal to a 20 b 10. Okay, so we will store so in stack only a pointer referencing to the heap is stored. Referencing to the heap object is stored in the stack, and then the actual like the object is stored in heap. So the y object will have that is property and element. The property, like the y object property will have the values which are 20 and 10 in our case, and the keys will be stored in a hidden class. It uses a hidden class that is a and b. Now let's say if I want to find y dot a, how will I find that? So it will go and look for the index of a, which is 0, and it will look up in the property which is 20 on 0th index. So I will get 20. So instead of like doing this process repeatedly, like following this loop, to optimize this, basically the V8 uses inline caching to basically skip the repetitive lookups. So by remembering the property's location, that is the offset of the property. So it will basically store like the offset of A in the Y object, and the next time when and the very next time when we are looking for Y dot A, it will just look up in the offs. It will just look for the offset instead of looking up repeatedly by going in the loop. So yeah, that's it. Like so that's how like basically the V8 engine works. Obviously, it's not in depth, like very in depth, but you get the idea, right? Okay. Yeah, thank you guys. If I like I'm a student as well, so if there are any mistake in this video, please just feel free to comment. I will it will just help me improve with time. And the next video will be on event looping. I have like planned videos for this playlist. Hope you all like actually enjoy this. Thank you.